Now that Hey guys, welcome to Pinemup. My name is Emma. Today I am here to show you how to do the whole base of a face. So for all intensive purposes, I'm including foundation, concealer, powder, contour, bronzing, highlighting, blush, all of that, all the kind of stuff to finish off the entire face, so that I don't have to go over this in other videos, so that if anyone actually wants to learn this skill separately, they can watch this video. And remember, this is all from my perspective of with my clients I've worked with and with my skin, and everyone's skin is different. So it's really important to find what works for you. So I hope you enjoy this tutorial and it is helpful. Let's get into it. I'm back with my hair tied up just to get it out of the way, and before I start I've just concealed my eyelids just because I'm not going to do eye makeup for the purpose of this tutorial, and I just need it to look even with the rest of my face. I've also put mascara on just so you can actually see that I have eyelashes. Also, this is the first video of many that I filmed that is going to be released. I jump hair color, I jump haircut, I jump eyebrows being done. So there'll be a couple of changes between videos, but it's the same me. I've just filmed a lot in a big block, so I have to decide which one is best to release in what order. So bear with me, please.
Bear with me, please.
To prep the face, I've already washed it off camera. I'm going to moisturize my face. I would normally put a primer in my T-zone where I'm the most oily, called Blot Out. But I don't have that at the moment, so we're just going to roll without it. I'm then going to grab my foundation. I'm going to do a separate video about foundation matching. Once that is out, link in the description. Same with a tutorial on eyes, hopefully a tutorial on airbrushing. As soon as those are out, all the links are in the description, and any video that they're relevant, I'm going to place them there as well. So now I'm just going to go in with my foundation. I apply most of my stuff off this board just because it's more sanitary. You can see where I spread the foundation the first time I applied it, and the camera possibly didn't catch it, so that's fun. And I'm just going to squirt it. That's a bad word. Now I've just got a couple of pumps on my palette. I'm going to grab a foundation brush and then also tap it off a little bit because you do not want too much product on it. You can always build, but it's very hard to take away. So applying, I'm going to start in the center and move my way out the face and avoiding under my eye. That area will be fixed with concealing. I've already concealed my eyelids just because I'm not going to do eye makeup for this, because I have another video I'm filming after that involves pretty much I'd have to remove all of the eye makeup to be able to do the look. One of the major things is to make sure that you blend down your neck, because although I'll do a separate video on color matching, it is still important that no matter what you use, you have to blend it into your skin. This is why I'm doing sweeping motions outwards, making sure to get everywhere. More on my brush from the top and working my way out to the perimeter of the face. I'm not looking directly at the camera purely because I have my mirror slightly under it and to the left. Don't know if that's actually the right direction, but you won't know. A very important thing to remember when applying foundation, adding more does not take away texture on your face. There is no technique that can take texture away from skin. The only thing that you can do is change the color. So that's a major thing, particularly pimples. There will still be bumps there, but you can cover the color so that they're not as noticeable, which you will see. Coverage wise, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm probably not going to end up using the last pump. If anything, I'll use it just to blend. And also get my chin. I missed my chin a little bit, but continue to blend down my neck. I also blend to my ears a little bit. The reason that I'm blending down my neck is because what some people get is what we call a tide line, which is where you can see exactly where their foundation ends and where their skin starts. Not a great look. If I don't have as much coverage as I want, I can add a little bit more, so I'll do that on my cheeks because they're quite red. And I'm just going to try and do more patting motions for this, and then blend it out. Is also a paint box thing. I used a paint box number 4 brush to do my foundation. Very good brand, should get, highly recommend. Go into my concealer palette, so I use Ket Cream Concealer, and I use all of these colors to mix and get the right color. So I'm going to be using R1. I'm going to put an indicator on the screen so you can see. And I'm also going to be mixing that with some N1 because I'm very pale. So let's get mixing. I'm just gonna grab a clean spatula and grab my mixing palette. And so what I'm gonna do here is scrape a little bit off. Now decant that onto my palette. This probably wasn't the best spatula choice, but we'll roll with it. Now I'm gonna go into N1. Scoop a little bit out. Also gonna go with a tiny bit of light adjuster, just because there's a little bit of bluey tones under my eye. So the way that this works is when putting concealer on, it's not about putting heaps of a lighter shade, it's about putting the right color correction so that you can actually cancel out any tones that you don't want. So for example, I've put a little bit of orange here because I have quite blue purple under my eye. And now I'm just gonna mix them all on my palette. Doesn't look like a lot, but it actually comes out to be a lot. Apply it to my face. You kind of don't always know if it's gonna work. Yeah, that's nice, I like that. So apply that to areas where you want a little more coverage. So I'm just gonna put it over my acne and a scar, possibly the redness on my cheeks. I'm not gonna put a heap on my cheeks because I wanna be able to blend it. But as you can see, you can still see the raised texture here of the pimples, but you can't fully see the red anymore. Now I'm gonna go into my under eye, pat it on, and the idea of this is not to have to layer it, but to put one and then the color will match. And what I'm doing is I am just putting the brush underneath and patting it in. Nice and careful, the under eye is a very sensitive area. As you can see, this is one side concealed and one side not concealed. You can see the shadows more on this side, it just looks a bit more blech. So now I'm gonna do the other side. And I go tight under my eye for this. And connect it up to the concealer on my lid. Now that I'm happy with the concealing, I'm gonna take a translucent powder. This is my personal one, this is not my client one, so it's a bit of a cheap one. And I'm just gonna tap some into the lid of it, like so. Beautiful ASMR audio. Oh yeah. A big fluffy brush. This is the Paintbox #1 brush. Very good. Would use as well. Now tapping it and tap off the brush a little bit and just start applying that all over my face. This is just to set in the products that I just placed on. The reason why I'm using translucent powder for this is because I'm happy with the color match I've done. If your foundation color is too light or too dark, you can use a pressed or loose foundation color of powder. That kind of suits it and can either warm you up or cool you down or bring it back that little bit more lightness. But because I'm happy with the match that I did, I'm just using translucent. This also works on dark skin tones. I've used this on the darkest of skin tones. This does not show up. It does not make the skin ashy. The idea of this is that it puts no color into the skin. It just sets the product. So now I'm onto bronzer. I'm going to use my Bobbi Brown Light Golden Light, blur. Dang, my brain doesn't work sometimes. But I'm using this on my cheeks, so I'm pretty much using this where I'm going to be contouring, but I'm also placing it so that it just warms up my face. This is going to be in a 3 shape, which you'll see in a second. I'm going to load up my brush, pat it off. This is the same brush I used for the powder, and I'm going to start up the cheeks and just go tight on the cheekbones, and then really, really lightly blend down. You don't want to take this too far. So you can already see the difference between this cheek and this cheek. This cheek just looks a little bit pudgier. Because of the 3 shape, we're going to go up here on the forehead. It connects down to here. Then the last spot, if you want to, is on the chin. So then it connects here. So you see how I did a 3 motion like so. But you want to make sure that you don't add too much because otherwise you can get quite an orange look depending on the bronzer you're using. I'm just going to do the other side to match. I'm going to quickly go grab my contour because it's the only thing I don't have in front of me right now. So I'm back, got my little contour. I've got Kevyn Aucoin medium sculpting powder and I'm going to be using my No. 5 Paintbox brush. I tend to work with more cool toned contours. So what I'm going to do is get a little bit on my brush. It's better to build rather than put too much. And I'm going to place a very small amount up the top of my cheekbone and move it down. But by the time I'm moving down my face, I don't have anywhere near as much product left on my brush. Gonna tap in again. If you want super contour cheeks, that's fine, but for me personally, I like to go with a softer look. I tend to actually not put contour on, but I'm doing it for the purpose of this video. Now I'm gonna touch it again, go up on that forehead. The other side, and now on my chin. So now that I've contoured, I'm going to move on to blush. I find that blush actually blends really nicely up with contour so that it keeps a nice consistent look on your cheeks. So blush for me, I use it very subtly because it just brings a little bit of colour back to the face as you kind of make it flat when you're putting foundation on. So I'm using a peachy tone, which is the Too Faced I Will Always Love You, going on my Morphe E48. And I'm going to, big stupid smile, gets the apples of your cheeks front, go E. And that's where you see the most important bits. And just kind of blend the product into there. Gonna do it again. Big stupid smile. And you want to make sure that you're getting an even application, otherwise it will look a little bit silly. If you're feeling a little bit unblended, wipe off your powder brush that you used for your contour and then use that to kind of blend everything on your cheek. If you really need to, you can put more translucent powder on there and it'll help everything melt into each other. So you can see the difference between this looks a lot more naturally placed, whereas this looks like it's been splodged at the moment, but I'm going to go over it. It's not a particularly delicate maneuver. Next up, and I think the final step for base, is I'm going to highlight. Grabbing my Ofra Nikki Tutorials. I'm going to be grabbing my Ofra Nikki Tutorials collaboration in Space Baby. Very pretty. Very pretty. I like very much. Using my Morphe M501, I'm going to dip into the pan. Tap it off. There's quite a bit of fallout from this product, which is fine. And then I'm just going to go to the top of my cheekbones. You only put highlighter really where the light will naturally hit you and where you want the high points to be. So I'm going to tap off, same on the other side. So you can see where the light is hitting that there. Now a really fun trick is that you can do this and move up to under your eyebrow. It just connects really nicely here. Bit of an arc. So you can now see that I'm getting a highlight through this entire area. Gonna do that again on the other side. So I actually just quickly forgot about blush. I like to add a little bit to my nose. I don't know why. It just looks cute and like, But anyway, there are other spots you can put highlighter, maybe a tiny bit on the forehead, but I tend to get quite oily skin, so that's not something that works for me. But you can put it just in your Cupid's bow. And you don't want to put it very far, you just want to put it right up the top, just to highlight that top section there. That's the only places I tend to put highlighter, or in my inner corner. Like I said, oily skin doesn't tend to look the greatest. So here is how to do the base of a face makeup. Of course, there will be one coming for lips, one coming for eyes, color matching, airbrushing, so there's going to be a whole bunch of different things on here. Make sure to check them all out when they're all... Make sure to check them out when they're all up. I'm going to put a link to a playlist, but I'm also going to put the links to each separate one. So my description will probably change once everything's ready. So I hope you like it. Here is the way I do a base. Of course, you can do more or less of each product any way you want. Just make sure that you blend everything. Oh, that highlight's so pretty. I really do love highlighter. Honestly, Ofra and Nikki are my favorite ones. Everglow, I have Space Baby, I have Cloud9, I have Glazed Donut separately as well, because Glazed Donut is my favorite. If I'm wearing a highlighter and I don't say what it is, 99% of the time, it is Glazed Donut. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below. Click that button because it'll make a ding animation, but also because it'll tell you when I post, most likely. We're gonna hope it will. Good on you, YouTube, you're doing great. But anyway, I hope you come back for more videos and I will see you soon. Goodbye. It's my mum talking to my sister. If you can hear that, I'm deeply sorry.